Hi, I'm Finn, and today I wanted to talk about League of Legends. Okay, not League of Legends, Arcane, because I didn't like League of Legends, right? It was that dumb game, and I still... Okay, I might have downloaded it, and I might have started playing it, but it's because of Arcane. And I didn't watch Arcane at first, because I thought it was the dumb League show, right? Like, of course, I saw people posting about it, I saw screenshots, but I didn't care. And let me tell you, it's rare that a show will exceed my expectations just as much as Arcane did. I finally sat down and watched it because some of my friends wanted me to, and holy shit. Good doesn't even begin to describe this show, and it definitely doesn't do it justice. This show is a fucking experience. From start to finish, it is a roller coaster that takes you on emotional highs, lows, and then shows you the prettiest shit you've ever seen. This is insane. So yeah, I will mention, this video contains Arcane spoilers, and if you haven't watched Arcane, go watch it. There's no reason not to. It's on Netflix, and it is a banger. It is so good. I didn't give it a chance for way too long, and when I finally did, I wish I had watched it 3 weeks sooner. Part of what makes Arcane so special is its cast, its characters, its ensemble crew. Because they're awesome. Every character in the show feels like someone I could just know. They feel so realistic and grounded, and they have such complicated motivations, and they all have things that they want, and they all have their own needs, desires, likes, dislikes, that it feels like they're just people. It's really, really well done. Their characters are one of the strongest part of the show, and I see people talking about this all the time. People saying Silco's a good character, even though he is absolutely insane and literally kidnaps children and is on crack cocaine. People say Vander's great, Vi is great, Caitlyn's great. All these characters are amazing and perfect, and they are! Everyone is so complicated and nuanced, it's brilliant to see this. But there's one character that's always excluded. For some reason, people really don't seem to like Jayce. As far as the fandom goes, he gets way more hate than any other character, by far. It's not even a contest. So I'm here to set the record straight. Jayce isn't exactly my favorite either, but he's really not that bad.
Are you kidding
You
me?
fucking suck! What the fuck?
Ever.
Touch the rag! How dare you?
You're so
How
stupid.
fucking
I
you
hate
saw
you.
what he did to Victor Hector?
Order!
Goddamn
Order! I will have order in my court. I will not have it be made a mockery.
What?
Will the prosecution and defense
What are you
please give their
saying?
opening statements?
Who are you? Who's the what are you saying?
Thank you, Your Honor. Jury of the court, we have gathered here today in order to...
Who are you? This is not a court case.
We've gathered in this court today to discuss whether or not Jayce Talis, Golden Boy Piltover, the City of Progress, Visionary Hex Tech, and Head of the Council can be considered whether or not a good character based upon his intentions, actions, and relationships with the characters in the show.
Alright, fine. I'll play by your rules. I'll play your game. But I'm gonna play it my way. So you want to talk about intentions? There's no one in the show with purer intentions than Jayce. Look, he was saved as a kid by magic, and he saw what it can do, and so he decided from that point on he was gonna help everyone as much as he could with magic. His initial drive that gets him from being a kid to working on Hextech in secret is just him wanting to help people. All that Jayce wants is for people to be safe. He wants them to be healthy, and he wants them to be comfortable. That's why he started working on Hextech, even despite the fact that it was severely illegal and violated some kind of weird doctrine thing that they had. And then even once he gets Hextech to work, he doesn't stop there. No, what he does is he tries to make it smaller and safer, so that who can have it? The working class, who works in the mines. That's a good dude. That just goes to prove how much this was always about helping people. It was never about the money. It was never about his name being the one attached to it, his legacy, which some people will try to tell you it is about, but it's just about him wanting to do good. And then things with Mel start to happen. And this is when we see his other motivation. He wants everyone to like him, which is a simple enough motivation, but it kind of pulls him apart sometimes. And it's good to see that in a character. It's good to see a character who can be pulled apart just because they want to do so much, which Jayce has. He has so many motivations. He wants people to feel better about themselves. He wants people to feel better about the world. He wants generally people to feel better. And he wants people to like him. There's simple motivations that drive him and keep him happy. And then he doesn't really get to do anything. So what does he do? He talks with Vi, and they decide, hey, we're going to take matters into our own hands, because he wants to do right so bad that he'll just do it himself. And then when that kind of falls apart, a Zonite comes up to him and says, hey man, we want to leave. And he's like, if that's what you want, we can totally get that figured out. Because he doesn't want more people to get hurt. Like I said, he wants to help people, and getting them hurt is directly opposed to that idea. So his intention with trying to set the Zonites free is literally just trying to help people. He sees their value and he wants them to be free, even if that one time he did say that bad line.
Well, you didn't say they were from the Undercity? What difference does that make? They're dangerous. I'm from the Undercity.
He obviously respects these people of the underground, making them tools so that they can mine safer and letting them have their autonomy.
In this situation, I would have to agree with the defense team. Jayce does mean well to the others, but whether or not a person has the right intentions or not, a person's action speaks volume more, so I suggest we change categories. I will give credit where credit is due. Jayce was and still is the visionary behind Hex Tech. I will give credit where credit is due. Jayce was and still is the visionary behind Hex Tech. To place the magic into the hands of the common people was his main goal. However, if we are to give credit where credit is due, we must acknowledge that Jayce's actions are built off the backs of the other characters. He is a boy in need of constant incentive to do just about anything he ever does in the show, and I can count on my fingers how many times he comes up with his own ideas. One of them being, but obviously not limited to, the blockade on the bridge. And I think we all know how that went. Going in order of the plot, let's start with Victor. In episode 1, as Vi, Powder, Milo, and Clagger enter Victor's apartment, it is obvious that he hit some sort of blocking point. Victor knew runes, and he was the one to place his position in his life on the line. It was not Jayce. Jayce had nothing to lose. Not to mention that Victor was the one to come up with Hex Core, a more advanced version of the Hex Gem, which was what Jayce came up with. But we know Victor came up with the Hex Core all on his own. But we know that Victor came up with the Hex Core all on his own by the way that Jayce questions what it is in episode, I think 2? 3? No, 4. Episode 4, probably.
I'm calling it the Hex Core.
But he helped change the course of the council. Let's not forget who put him on that council in the first place. Mel, who is a huge driving point in Jayce's character. Jayce would not be anywhere without Mel. Also Victor, but mostly Mel. But above all, Hextech would not be a thing without Mel, because she could have so easily ratted out Victor and Jayce to the rest of the council because those two broke into official government building. They could have so easily been just locked up in that stupid little prison and then just rot away for the rest of their lives. But not only that, Mel also saves Jayce from being trampled on by the other counselors after he makes some very obvious, unexperienced decisions, aka looking into the other counselors' track records. I don't even know what he did because it never really had any consequences. He just got away with it. It doesn't even show us what he actually did. Okay, but Jayce wanted peace, yes, but not until he watched the consequences of his own actions engraved onto the face of a child as he fell to his demise. Let us once again take note that Jayce only agreed to take down that plantation because Vi said something. Jayce didn't want peace. He wished for war, but that idea was quickly turned down by the other counselors once Mel took charge. But if all that isn't convincing enough, Jayce had to be saved by his own mom in court, because without her, he would have just been exiled. Don't get me wrong, he does have the enthusiasm and creativity, but he lacks in both experience and drive, which are two very key parts of being a leader of just about anything, let alone a very influential city such as Piltover.
You want to talk about actions? I want to talk about actions. How about invented hex tech? Literally everything we see in the show is only possible because of Jayce. If Jayce wasn't around, show wouldn't exist. Sorry, Jayce is literally the main driving factor of the show. Don't believe me? If they didn't break into that room, Powder never would have set off that explosion. They never would have went into the underground. None of that would have happened, which, now that I think about it, you could say that that's a bad thing because that leads to Jinx and Powder thing and Vander's death. But I blame Jayce for those. So yeah, he invents hex tech, revolutionizing the world for the better. It's like their industrial revolution, which I would like to point out is a good thing. And then he gets kind of forcibly put on the council. And what does he immediately do? Starts investigations into every other member of the council in order to clear out corruption. He doesn't just get power and stop there. He gets power and he tries to cleanse that power and make sure that it's coming from positions of righteousness. And he's stopped by Mel, which sucks, but it shows how much he just wants to do good. And by showing this, by showing him instantly launch an investigation, he's got the drive and the power to do it. And he did. And then with tensions at an all-time low between the underground and the overcity, he stops it. He brokers a peace. He actually does it. He talks with him and he says, hey, we can set you guys free. You just can't do any more terrorism things and we might need Jayce. And then Silco is an idiot and says no. Well, actually, he didn't know he said no. He thought he said yes. So they were actually totally going to get him free before Jayce opposed it.
I don't have much for this section just because his actions tie directly to his relationships with other characters, which I think I've showcased very well in my last section. He does all the right things, but in the wrong places. Not in the sense that it makes him a villain or a horrible person, but what good is a person if all they do just seems to counteract the good that they tried to do? Take, for example, Jinx. She's the same way where she wants to be a better person and she actively tries to be that better person, but everything just proves to no avail. She is supposed to be the villain. And once again, I'm not saying that Jayce is the villain of the story. He definitely is not. But Jinx and Jayce both fall into that subcategory of just people who try to be good but fail at just almost everything. Going back to Mel, I think with that we can all agree that we all thought Mel was just going to, dare I say it, girl boss Jayce. Kind of just use him for his dream of hex tech and then leave him in the middle of court when he needed her the most. But she didn't. At least not exactly. To spare the jury, I'm not going to relist everything that Mel has done for this boy. However, I think we can see in parts of the show, such as when Mel wakes up after Jayce and her kind of do it, Mel obviously has feelings for Jayce, and once those feelings are established, Mel just kind of becomes Jayce's therapist. I don't want to suck you off. She just kind of takes a back seat and is just there when Jayce ever really needs her. Alexa, play Mommy Friend by Penelope Scott.
Play specific songs.
Alexa, shut up.
Here's a station for you based on the song Mommy Friend by Penelope Scott.
Alexa.
Amazon Music.
Alexa, stop.
Are we at our last section already? Okay, well, relationships. A character's relationships really are part of the most valuable and interesting part of the character, how they can interact with other people. And I feel this really shines in Jayce because, well, let's look at his first relationship. The first one we see in the show is Jayce and Caitlyn, which is nice. I like it when you can just have friends. I really like shows that just let friends exist. I feel like when there's a male lead and a female lead, there's this desire to just throw them at each other like rag dolls and say, now kiss. I don't know why every studio seems to do that, but you can just have friends of the opposite gender, I promise. So it's really nice to see that they're just pals, they're buddies, and they still have a lot of trust and love for each other, just not in the romantic sense. What I'm saying is it's sweet, and it makes it all the more heartbreaking later when they have that brief falling out. Which, that falling out actually doesn't really make sense to me. I'm going to say that's kind of one of the weaker moments in the show for me because Jayce was saying he wanted to do something and then he teams up with Vi to do it. So he was clearly, maybe I'm missing something from that bit. But the next relationship I want to look at is Victor, because people really like to say that he mistreated Victor, but he didn't. The only times he really goes against Victor is by making plans about hex tech that he doesn't run through Victor, which, yes, they did it together, but I mean, Jayce kind of was a bigger influence on it, right? Like, he started the project, he was the founder of it and everything, and he still loves Victor, and Victor still loves him. They both save each other's lives at different points in the story, And when Jayce learns that Victor is sick with something, he instantly tries to fix it. He tries to find ways to cure it. And that's part of the stress that he was under when he was going through that. And I get that their relationship isn't always perfect. I get that they have these little snippets of kind of snipping at each other. But that's good, in my opinion. I think that's really good character writing. It's nice to see.
Objection, Your Honor. Hex tech before sex tech.
He was manipulated. As far as him and Mel's relationship goes, he was being actively manipulated the whole time until he got too powerful and too self-driven for her to manipulate. But up until that point, he was being used like a puppet. And no one calls attention to this. No one is like, well, yeah, but Jayce was being manipulated. They're like, oh, well, Jayce was an idiot and he was being used. Like, dude, do you not understand manipulation? It seems like people can relate to Jinx and be like, oh, Jinx is being manipulated by this person. But when it's Jayce, it's, oh, what an idiot, he's being manipulated. And it's like, is that because it's a woman that's doing it? Is that why you think it's okay now? Anyway, I just wanted to say one more thing about Jayce, my closing arguments, if you will. People don't sympathize with Jayce enough. Look at what he's going through. It's easy to just see a guy making mistakes. But there's a lot on his back and no great decisions no matter where he goes. Like, he chose not to unveil Hextech early because it was unstable. He wanted to do what was right. And then people say that was a violation of Victor. But he was thinking about the safety of everyone above one person. He has the pressure of everyone looking at him for Hextech. Not only that, when he's put on the council, he has the pressure of all the council pushing on him and the Undercity and the Overcity. It is a massive amount of pressure that is being put on this poor boy who just wanted to invent something to help people. And then he starts accruing weight. He gets the weight of Victor's impending death. He gets the weight of the Zonite's death. He gets the weight of the deaths of those people on that bridge, and it is crushing at him, and it is eating at him. And there's no good answers to these questions. Like, tell me how you're going to fix the underground situation. No one has a good answer. So he tries what works, and he just keeps trying, and he's doing his best, but he's under so much stress and pressure that he's breaking. So next time you look at Jayce, next time you watch Arcane, or you see someone roasting Jayce, just try to keep in mind that he is breaking slowly, and try to understand what that might do to a person. Okay, thank you guys. That was really fun. That was my friend Cosplay Cactus over on the Cosplay Cactus YouTube channel. Go check him out, like their stuff, subscribe to him. But if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Actually, please do comment. That really is kind of the point of this video. I want to see what you guys think about Jayce before and after this video, if there's any changes. And I also wanted to just go ahead and say I have a link tree down below. You can follow my Instagram, my Twitter from there. And that kind of just motivates me to make more videos. Sorry it's been so long since the last video. I've just been in a drought. But yeah, that's it. See ya.